On August 16th, President Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act. It's the country's largest investment in climate change. And it included in the legislation $350 million for the federal permitting improvement steering to make sure those green projects happen. Christine Harada is the council's executive director. Christine, nice to see you again.
Likewise, thank you for having me.
So the Permitting Council is still relatively new. It was just made a permanent agency in November. Remind us what the council does.
Yes, so we serve as a governing entity that works to ensure that all the federal environmental review and permitting of major infrastructure projects is predictable, that's transparent, it's accountable, and we help work with project sponsors and state agencies, local governments, tribal nations to ensure that everybody is coordinating and collaborating accordingly to ensure that we're delivering on the infrastructure agenda.
So the Inflation Reduction Act just gave a massive increase to the council's budget. Talk about how that money will be used.
Yes, so we're very grateful for the funding, and it's, I think, certainly very much a validation of the need for developing infrastructure in this nation. Some of the money will be used to help continue to assist our federal agencies, i.e., largely making sure that we are providing the funding to be able to support the agencies with staffing or whether it be on-demand services in the various regions for specific projects. And some of the other funding will be used to help provide more centralized tools, if you will. A lot of the capabilities that the federal permitting agencies need in order to be able to do their jobs more efficiently. So whether that be more GIS or geographic information system, mapping tools, digitization for workflow management or stakeholder engagement, a lot of those types of capabilities, and certainly last but not least, providing assistance to state, local, and tribal governments as well, as they may need additional resources to be able to continue the work for environmental reviews and permitting at their levels.
And so what challenges do you foresee, Christine, in ramping up and in implementing all these changes?
Well, certainly it is a very large jump, as for which, of course, we're very grateful. And I think, the biggest challenge, of course, is ensuring that we are, number one, hiring the right staff. We're fortunate to have a super high performing staff at the moment. We're looking to add a couple more folks on the team to ensure that we are not only supporting the agencies, well from a permitting expertise perspective, but also ensuring good financial stewardship. I envision that a lot of the funding will end up going out to be transferred out to other federal agencies, state, local, and tribal nations. And so in that regard, of course, ensuring that we've got the right CFO type skill set in-house to be able to ensure that we're managing that appropriately.
And do you know at this point about how big of a staff that you're going to eventually ramp up to?
We anticipate ramping up in total. The numbers still need to be finalized, right? We're still very much in planning mode, if you will, but anticipate adding about 4 more folks onto the team for a total of about 30. It is not my vision to certainly build up my own empire. I envision using the vast majority, the significant majority of the funding towards actually implementing the infrastructure, environmental review, and permitting processes.
And the council coordinates so-called Fast 41 projects. What does that mean?
Sure. Fast 41 projects are those that are defined within our statute itself, but fundamentally they are very large, complicated infrastructure projects in now 18 categories. We used to be 12 categories, but on Wednesday last week, the president signed a bill into law that added 6 new sectors for the Fast 41 program, largely in the technology and advanced research and development fields.
You have a permitting dashboard on your website. What kind of information about these projects do you make available to the public?
Sure. So the public is able to visualize and see in real time a couple of things about each of the projects. There's a basic overview, what the project is, where is it physically located, points of contact, who's the lead person at the federal agency, who's the lead person at the project sponsor entity, as well as what I call the master Gantt chart, if you will, of the entire project, but it's fundamentally the permitting timetable. So you can see who's on first, what's on second, what are all the environmental reviews and authorizations that need to happen, what's the actual time frame for that. If there are delays, if there are activities that are pushing things out more to the right, if you will, on the schedule, for what reasons, all of those reasons and details are articulated on the dashboard to be able to provide that greater transparency, as well as drives accountability within the federal agencies that we work with.
And for the first time this year, the agency released a strategic plan. What is your biggest goal for this coming year?
My fundamental goal has long been to ensure that we are delivering on the president's infrastructure agenda, that it is real. We're very fortunate to now have two very large pieces of legislation that have been passed that help accelerate and expedite infrastructure investments in America, both of the bipartisan infrastructure law as well as with the Inflation Reduction Act, and we need to execute on that. So my job is to ensure that we're equipping my federal agencies with the appropriate resourcing, the skill set, and the tools that they need to be able to function and do their jobs well and provide high quality and timely decisions.
All right. Well, Christine, we'll check in with you again as this continues to roll out. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future Government Matters interviews.